So I just found out that the Indonesian Jungle Pavilion at Prague Zoo has been around for 20 years. 20! I honestly thought it was brand new. It's super clean and so well kept. Inside, you'll meet some pretty amazing animals. Komodo dragon, Chinese pangolin, Sumatran orangutan, southern pig-tailed macaque, and even tiny northern treeshrew. Today, we're heading into this tropical world. And just like the real rainforest, it's hot, humid, and totally immersive. Let's go check it out. The whole pavilion is roughly divided into 5 main sections, and we're going to explore them one by one. First up, the entrance hall. This area is mostly for educational displays and a row of aquarium tanks. Well, not just aquariums. They're more like ecological exhibits. It's not only about the animals themselves, but also the environments they live in. I happened to catch a glimpse of a Rhode Island snake-necked turtle, critically endangered in the wild, but thankfully, quite well represented here at the zoo. The second section features one of Indonesia's most iconic animals, the Komodo dragon, also known as the Komodo monitor. This area is actually pretty spacious, and there are several Komodo dragons here. What's cool is that they're often quite active, which probably means they're living a pretty good life here. Now we're heading into the heart of the pavilion, a more immersive section where the visitor path runs between 2 animal habitats. The idea is clearly to make you feel like you're walking through the jungle. On the left side, we've got a group of southern pig-tailed macaques, probably around a dozen of them. They've got a great enclosure, plenty of space, good vertical height, and a lot of natural elements, even a little waterfall. Though to be honest, that waterfall is loud. It kind of drowns out the background sounds. These are called southern pig-tailed macaques because, well, their tails really do curl like a pig's. Fun fact, they were once trained to harvest coconuts, but nowadays, they're listed as endangered by the IUCN. They're native to Southeast Asia, including Indonesia, so living here in the Indonesian pavilion makes total sense. On the right side, they say there are 2 species sharing the same habitat. I only saw one, the smooth-coated otter. These guys are found across South and Southeast Asia. They sometimes nap during the day, but I was lucky enough to catch them in action. The other animal supposedly living here is the binturong, but honestly, I've never seen it. At this point, it's starting to feel like a myth. There's also a pool nearby, and I spotted the cutest little fish, the green-spotted puffer. Tiny, colorful, and surprisingly expressive. Moving on. Up ahead is the 4th section, the nocturnal zone. Now, to be honest, I usually come here first thing in the morning. That's because for the first hour after the zoo opens, this area is still in day mode. The lights are on. After about an hour, it switches to nighttime lighting. So yeah, I tend to head here right away. Of course, most of the nocturnal animals are still asleep at that point, so you don't always see much. It's the eternal struggle of nocturnal exhibits. Too bright and they're not active. Too dark and you can't see anything. Luckily, the pangolins were already up and moving, probably the rarest animals in the entire pavilion. I always make a point to visit them. Prague Zoo originally brought in just 2 Chinese pangolins from Taipei Zoo, a male named Guo Bao and a female named Run Hu Tang. And surprisingly, they settled in and started breeding almost right away. Now there are 4 of them. They've doubled in number. That's pretty impressive. These were the first and second successful births of Chinese pangolins in all of Europe. Guo Bao and Run Hu Tang have officially reached legend status in this zoo. This little guy here is the earless monitor lizard, pretty famous in the reptile world. My footage wasn't great, but you can still see just how beautiful it is. Next up, the southern Luzon giant cloud rat. I was lucky to catch this one during the night mode. These animals are extremely rare in European zoos. Only 4 zoos in all of Europe keep them, and they're all in the Czech Republic. This is the Sunda slow loris, also called the greater slow loris, a classic nocturnal primate with those big, adorable eyes. It's also classified as endangered by the IUCN. Besides these, the nocturnal zone is also home to the ground cuscus and the sugar glider, but the lighting was just too dark to film them properly. Now let's head upstairs. This is the final section of the Indonesian Jungle Pavilion. And the star attraction up here? Definitely the Sumatran orangutans. Orangutans are arboreal, meaning they spend more time in the trees than on the ground. So the climbing structures here are really well designed, giving them that feeling of swinging through a real forest canopy. The habitat is also surrounded by water, which is a common design choice for orangutans. In the wild, they tend to settle near rivers, and since most orangutans aren't good swimmers, the deep water acts as a natural barrier. The roof up here is transparent, so sunlight pours in. Even if they don't go outside, they can still enjoy a nice indoor sunbath. Among the 3 orangutan species, the Sumatran orangutan is considered the most intelligent. Adult males have these large, fleshy cheek pads, which makes their faces look much bigger than the females. At first, I thought those cheek pads were firm and solid, but one time, I saw one of them turn his head, and the whole thing wobbled like soft pudding. Turns out it's just a big piece of floppy fat. And this little one here, the smallest orangutan, was born just last year. Look how tiny he was back then. He's already grown a lot, but young Sumatran orangutans usually stay clinging to their moms until they're at least 2.5 years old. Besides the orangutan habitat, most of the second floor is basically a dense tropical forest, filled with lush plants and towering trees. A few species of small birds live freely in this area. You can always hear birdsong echoing through the forest, but spotting them, let alone filming them, is a real challenge. Near the exit, there's a mixed species exhibit that houses 2 interesting animals. This one here is the northern treeshrew. It kind of looks like a squirrel, right? But it's actually not closely related to squirrels at all. Genetically, it's even more closely related to primates. And the other one is the Philippine porcupine, a rare species native to Palawan Island in the Philippines. You don't see this one often in zoos. Fun fact, I think Prague Zoo keeps 4 or 5 different porcupine species. Pretty impressive for porcupine fans out there. And that wraps up our journey through the Indonesian Jungle Pavilion. It was built back in 2004, which means it's been here for over 20 years. Honestly, that blew my mind. It still feels modern and immersive even by today's standards. Must have been way ahead of its time when it opened. Between the fish, amphibians, mammals, birds, and reptiles, there must be dozens of species living here. Some of them are critically endangered, like the Chinese pangolin and Sumatran orangutan. Others, like the Komodo dragon, southern pig-tailed macaque, Urlis monitor lizard, and the southern Luzon giant cloud rat, are also listed as endangered. What's even more impressive is that many of these animals are not just surviving here, they're thriving. Some have even successfully reproduced, helping expand the zoo's conservation population. It's an amazing space. I could honestly spend the whole day here. But let's be real, it's hot, it's humid, and I'm just a large primate wearing clothes. I'm sweating like crazy. Time for me to go.